How are you, Doc?
I am peachy keen. How are you, Queenie?
I love the peachy keen part. I thought the water
I
was
don't even know
good
what that means.
background today since we are in Kansas City sweltering.
Yes. Don't worry. We're supposed to get rain to add to the humidity tomorrow.
Yay! That's the best news of all. Yeah.
Yes.
But I do
Yes, it
honestly,
is.
when people say things like that, I always think, it's summer in Kansas City. It can change by the second. Who cares? It's okay. That's fine.
Exactly.
Yep. So what's
Well,
happening in your
cool. Other than my little internet problem here, I don't know how it is on your end, but
A-OK so far?
good. Good, good, good. No, nothing much, just busy with gardening and watering and gardening and trying to figure out how to get rid of bunnies in my garden. A little more gardening.
Yeah. I
So how
bet
about you? What's new with you?
the bunnies are fun this time of year, I bet. Yeah. Hey,
Uh-huh, they're really funny.
I know. Yeah, I just enjoy summer so much. I had actually quite a few meetings today, so I didn't get outside much, but I tried to steal 1 hour out there and it was so beautiful. So, yes, hot, but I water the yard or whatever I do just to get a little bit wet out there, and it's just fun. I love summer, and I know it's hot, and a lot of people are not able to tolerate the heat, but I figure as long as I can, then I'm good with that. So, I know you had
Yeah.
some scripture verses in your heart tonight. So, what would you like to start out with, dear Doc?
Well, let me see if I can get to those.
Okay.
Like we had talked actually today in our little Facebook Live thing
Yeah.
um, about different versions, and I was listening to a song today. I listened to a lot of Christian music. Um, and one person in particular, he's kind of like an edgy, rocky kind of guy. His
Uh-huh.
name's Toby Mac. And Toby lost his son over the past year um, to a drug addiction. And he wrote a song, and it was talking about the son being in heaven, and I can't wait to see you, and how life is short. And there were some phrases in his song that kind of made me think, uh, life is a vapor. How many of us remember that? And we get caught up in stuff that when you really look back, even as we age and we look back to the stuff that was quote unquote important when we were younger, and now it doesn't mean anything.
It's not even
um
on the
one
radar.
one thing I can remember, yeah, and when we leave this earth, people acquire things, and there are people that hoard and all of this kind of stuff, and you're like, you didn't come into this world with a U-Haul. I don't think you're going out with a U-Haul.
I've never seen one, but I am not an expert.
Nor am I. Yeah, just a thought. So it circles back around to life is like a vapor. Our days on this earth are numbered. Um, you know, we because we are believers and Jesus is our savior. Our names are in the book of life, which means we will get to heaven, which I can't wait. Some days, um, and that's not necessarily that the day is bad. Um, it's just I don't know. I don't know. Do you ever feel that way? Just, hey Jesus, I want to meet you.
Absolutely. I think it's a very fun, comforting thought to know that our next step, this journey called life, is to get to live the rest of eternity with Him. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah,
Take the
I
piece of
I'm a
that.
big time. I'm sorry. What did you say? You cut out on my end.
I said it takes the fear piece out, and if you already know where you're going, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yes. And as you know, Queenie, and who knows if anybody, whoever's on here, I haven't cheated to look yet,
It's
but
Janice and I.
I'm a big music person, and so of course, music. Is it Janice and Donna?
Yes. Yes.
Oh dear, you're frozen. Okay.
You're not. Keep
Like,
talking.
wow, you're talking again without moving your mouth. Um, I'm so impressed. Um, but the one of the song, another song. Uh, now I'm drawing a blank. I can only imagine, what it would be like.
Yeah.
Imagine the song Imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Mercy Me, I do believe. I
Yep.
get Mercy Me and Cassie Crowns mixed up all the time. I don't know why, but I just do. But he talks about, I can only imagine what it's going to be like, and I've in heaven, and I have noticed because I do a lot of Bible-based things and listen to sermons on YouTube. There have been a lot of people in the past several months, um, near-death experiences, go up to heaven, come back. I saw the other day a lady, she was an atheist, and she met Jesus and he sent her back, so all of that stuff, and attach that to the life is like a vapor. How should we be living if we know we have short window of time, if we know where we're going, um, and it's something we cannot imagine, but listening to people's stories, um, I would say unbelievable from the standpoint we cannot wrap our heads around what awaits us, and we will be perfect. We will be with God. I. So how do we live? I guess the questions for today is how do we live our lives? Are we yes, we're in the moment, but are we letting that moment take away our future? Maybe that's a good way to put it. Um, from the standpoint of, is your focus in the right place? Are you focused on the money and the this and the here and the now? Or should we be focused on leading others, giving them, well, just telling them your testimony? Because people that don't know Jesus or, don't know Christianity or don't, or whatever has happened to them to have an opinion um, against a church or whatever. Um, do they know your story? It's all about stories, really. We talk about stories in your head and all that. Um, they've got a story in their head. We have a story in our head about them. Why can't we come to that point knowing that life is like a vapor and actually we are supposed to share what's happened to us? And there's some, whether it's a phenomenal, fantastic story of getting saved or not, you just never know who you're going to touch, or a similarity who you're going to come across. And there are no accidents.
1,000,000%. Absolute total 1,000,000%. And you never know whose lives you're going to touch, whether you are in ministry, just like you've taught us before, as far as the soul, body, spirit piece. A lot of people have not grasped that yet. So I think that is a
Right.
huge piece as far as our salvation.
I have one verse I wanted to read, and we've been talking about this past couple of weeks of the different versions. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I lost you there. Ah, there you are. Did you? I didn't hear you, Queenie.
No, I actually didn't say anything. You were talking about the verse you wanted to share.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something. Maybe it was who knows, in this verse today, it's James 4:14. And I'm going to read it in several different versions because I'm being fascinated with that right now, as everybody can tell. So let me first read it in the AMP version. Yet you do not know, in parentheses, the least thing about what may happen in your life tomorrow. What is secure in your life? You are merely a vapor, like a puff of smoke or a wisp of steam from a cooking pot. That is visible for a little while and then it vanishes into thin air. That's one version. Um, ERV version. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. Your life is like a fog. You can see it for a short time, but then it goes away. The GNV version. And yet ye cannot tell what shall be tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and afterward vanish away. Now this, I don't know if this is a version or a commentary, because I've never seen this one before. It's called Phillips, and it says, just a moment. Now you who say we are going to such and such a city today or tomorrow, we shall stay. We shall stay there a year doing business and make profit. How do you know what will happen even tomorrow? What, after all, is your life? It is like a puff of smoke, visible for a little while and then dissolving into thin air. Your remark should be prefaced with, if it is the Lord's will, we shall be alive and will do so and so. As it is, you get a certain pride in yourself and planning your future with such confidence. That sort of pride is all wrong. No doubt you agree with the above in theory. Well, remember that if a man knows what is right and fails to do it, his failure is real sin. I'm going to end it with my favorite message, James 4:14 Message Bible. So bear with me for a second, because of course that wasn't on that huge long list. All right. Don't badmouth each other, friends. It's God's word, his message, his royal rule that takes a beating in that kind of talk. You're supposed to be honoring the message, not writing graffiti all over it. God is in charge of deciding human destiny. Who do you think you are to meddle in the destiny of others? Sorry, I can't tell where 14 starts. I have a word for you who brashly announced today at the latest, tomorrow we're off to such and such a city for the year. We're going to start a business and make a lot of money. You don't know the first thing about tomorrow. You're nothing but a wisp of fog catching a brief bit of sun before disappearing. Instead, make it a habit to say, if the master wills it and we're still alive, we'll do this or that. So, don't know if that, helps anybody or makes you think. Or if anybody even wants to make a comment here on StreamYard, that would be great if you can. As usual, we seem to have a little bit of a delay, but we welcome comments or on the replay.
Absolutely.
I'm
And
sorry, you totally.
I was looking in the message version and it says nothing but a wisp of fog. And so that's a beautiful way to think of, just like you were talking about the U-Haul, we're not taking anything with us. And I see people accumulate and accumulate and accumulate some more. And I look at that and it's nice to have nice things. I get that. The accumulation piece does not compute in my head because we're really not taking it with us. And so we're going to start a business and make a lot of money. I know you were in the message version when you said that part. How many people get into a business and they instantly say, I'm going to make my $1 million today? Well, congratulations. And you certainly go do that if that's where you're led. But then what happens is they're disappointed. And that to me, I just don't understand. I call that setting yourself up for failure. I'm going to start a business and bless other people. There you go. And then the Lord will bless you, blessing other people. I get that better. And so it really does, it kind of changes your mentality when you think like that.
Well, and like you and I have talked about, there's a way we talk about our business, put someone in the path that needs me, is a totally different perspective than I need the money or I need this or, like you said, I'm going to make $1 million today. This is the business. I'm going to, take the world by storm. Well, yeah. God still orders our steps. Yes, I agree with Janice. My treasure will be in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, Queenie.
Uh-huh.
You keep cutting out. So as long as we have a moment here, I'm going to reset my router.
Okay.
I don't know if you're having trouble on your end.
While you are doing that,
so I'm going to go away for a moment or two, and I will be back.
Okay. Fantastic. Would you like to start?
Hear me,
please?
I can't hear anything. I'm going to restart my router.
Okay.
So I apologize. I'm leaving you all alone.
Yeah, that's
She's
okay.
like, Queenie, goodbye.
That's okay. Thank you again for joining us tonight on Doc and Queenie Bible Trivia. And with some of the messages that Doc was sharing with us earlier, that's what we're going to discuss tonight. And so we're going to actually start out in the Old Testament, of course, and we're going to go into Ecclesiastes. So that will be our Bible trivia begin. And we'll start with actually chapter 1. Okay. So again, thank you for joining us live or on the replay, and we'll get started. The writer of this book refers to himself as a lamb, the preacher, God's voice, or the servant of man. The writer of this book refers to himself as a lamb, the preacher, God's voice, or servant of man. Isn't that always an interesting thing when people talk about servanthood and helping other people, and that's our purpose in life and things like that. So the writer of this book, referring to Ecclesiastes 1, refers to himself as a lamb, the preacher, God's voice, or servant of men. Great job, Donna. Great job, Janice. The answer, of course, Ecclesiastes 1:1, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. So good job, awesome ladies. The writer is the son of David, Isaac, Saul, or Reuben. The writer is the son of David, Isaac, Saul, or Reuben. Absolutely. All right, we'll wait as Doc gets back in the StreamYard, and we do thank you for joining us tonight. This is one of our favorite things to do every single week. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem, son of David. He says all this is good, evil, righteous, vanity. He says all is good, evil, righteous, or vanity. All is such a big word, isn't it? He said all is good, evil, righteous, or vanity. We'll go to Ecclesiastes 1:2. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. It's kind of scary. All rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not fit to drink, is not full, meets the heaven, holds all life. All rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not fit to drink, is not full, meets the heaven, or holds all life. Doesn't seem like our delay is too bad tonight, ladies, so thank you for hanging in there with us. We'll hope Doc gets everything reset real soon. Oh my goodness, rock stars each and every one. Ecclesiastes 1:7, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, they return again. Okay? Ecclesiastes 1:7. This cannot be found under the sun. A new thing, reign, misery, or death. This cannot be found under the sun. A new thing, reign, misery, or death. Yeah, this isn't too bad. Thank you, ladies. That's awesome. Yeah, that's not bad. Thank you. That tells us how far into this we can get, so that's pretty fabulous. Welcome back, Doc. We're on Ecclesiastes 1:7, and Donna and Janice have been keeping me company. The correct answer is Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. And so far, Doc, you'll be happy to know that Donna and Janice have about 4,000 points apiece.
Wow, you just leave for 5 minutes
And then they completely have all these points. That's awesome. The writer was king over Israel, the whole earth, Babylon, or Egypt. The writer was king over Israel, the whole earth, Babylon, or Egypt. We're in Ecclesiastes 1, Doc.
Okay.
And I've been checking the delay with Donna and Janice. And it's about typical. It's not as bad as it has been. So at least it's not raining right now, which does seem to change all of our internet connections.
Well, this seems to be a better connection right now.
Yeah.
You're not really delayed at all, so
Good.
I'm happy.
That's good. Yeah, resetting all that stuff sometimes is the only best answer. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 1:12. The preacher was king over Israel in Jerusalem.
All right.
Please, Doc, when you're ready to get into that part, let me know.
I'm ready, Queenie.
Okay, perfect. That which is crooked cannot stand, fall, be replaced, or be made straight. That which is crooked cannot stand, fall, be replaced, or be made straight.
Ecclesiastes 1, verse 15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered.
Ta-da! The preacher had more of this than all before him in Jerusalem. The preacher had more of this than all before him in Jerusalem. Wisdom, time, land, or servants. Wisdom, I love that word. Time, land, or servants.
I'm guessing that is verse 16.
It is indeed.
I communed with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to a great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem.
I seriously do. I love that word. Smart is one thing, educated is one thing, but wisdom is just, you know where that comes from. It's just cool.
It's a totally different animal, really, when you
Absolutely.
think about it.
Absolutely. In much wisdom is much reward, love, righteousness, or grief. In much wisdom is much reward, love, righteousness, or grief.
Ecclesiastes 1, verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief. He that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Couldn't get that out.
Yeah, it's hard to say those increaseth one.
Yes, I've got a list going on there.
He that increases knowledge increases friends, life, sorrow, or majesty. He that increases knowledge increases friends, life, sorrow, or majesty. It's so cool. Ladies never miss.
Well, and I just switched versions, and this is quite interesting, like we keep pointing out. It's verse 18 again.
Okay.
Because in much wisdom there is much grief, and increasing knowledge results in increasing pain. Is how they phrase it.
Yeah, and this one actually says sorrow. He that increases knowledge increases sorrow.
And that answer is something we don't expect.
It's way not something I would think. If you increase your knowledge, maybe that's because reality checks gets in there. And once you know too much almost, that's when you go, oh, yikes, maybe I was happier not knowing that.
Well, and you can see things, how people are. I get, not like you're all knowing, but when you have wisdom and see how people act out or opinions or whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
I could see that would be disappointing, or the pain part, not really, but sorrow maybe. I don't know. It's a hard one to wrap your head around.
It lets you go through certain things and hopefully learn from it. And so then you're maybe more attuned the next time a sorrowful piece kicks in. So that's a good point. Okay, ladies, are you ready? This is Ecclesiastes 2. He said in his heart that he would enjoy pleasure, but found it to be joyous, timely, vanity, or lonely. He said in his heart that he would enjoy pleasure, but found it to be joyous, timely, vanity, or lonely.
Just seeing, giving them a chance, and I'm trying to change my version here.
See if our ladies are good typers tonight, huh?
Yes. Of course, now I just forgot where we're at. There we go.
Ecclesiastes 2.
What verse are we at, Queenie?
Actually, this one is verse 1, Doc.
Okay. I'm just like looking at all of these and they don't match whatsoever. I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless.
Well, that's interesting because the vanity piece, once again, is the term. And both ladies got that correcto mundo. He increased more than all that were before him in. He increased more than all that were before him in Jerusalem, Babylon, Canaan, or Judea. Jerusalem, Babylon, Canaan, or Judea. I do think these phones hear us talk, Doc. I know you've got a lot of remodeling projects going on in your house. The ad on this Bible trivia piece is bathroom tile.
And what kind of bathroom tile are we getting?
I'm serious. It practically probably knows that too.
Are
This
you
is
going to buy it for us, Queenie?
bizarre. So bizarre. Oh my gosh.
Ecclesiastic 2, I'm thinking verse 7, I'm guessing.
It's actually verse 9.
Oh, verse 9. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was picking out, because it doesn't match. I found Jerusalem. So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem.
Also, my wisdom remained with me. That wisdom word is going to keep popping up.
Yes, it is.
This remained with him, his wife, his father, his children, or his wisdom. This with him, his wife, his father, his children, or his wisdom. Something tells me we need to dive into that word a little bit.
I'm thinking so. Maybe next time around. Ecclesiastes 2:9. So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained with me.
Lovin', that word. His heart, good job, ladies. His heart rejoiced in iniquity, his labor, sin, or oppressing the poor. His heart rejoiced in iniquity, his labor, sin, or oppressing the poor.
Ecclesiastes 2:10. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor. Good answers, everybody. 1,000 points if we have any points left.
Seriously, I think they used them up in the first scriptures.
I go away and all the points are gone.
We're just glad you're back. When he looked
Glad to be back.
all was honorable, vanity, destroyed, or decaying. When he looked upon his labor, all was honorable, vanity, destroyed, or decaying.
I was trying to give them a chance to answer. There we go, vanity.
There's that word again.
That's not the vanity in the bathroom.
Nope.
That's what we used to call it.
Yeah, this too. Oh my gosh, we've got a new chimer inner.
Shall I cheat it and see it? Who is that?
I'll do that while you're reading the like
Which verse?
at 211.
2:11. Okay. I thought it was 11 or 12. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun.
Yeah, that is Ecclesiastes 2:11. Let's go in here and see. Mr. Brad is joining us today.
Hello, Mr. Brad.
Brad Streetman is in the house, ladies. This excels folly as light excels darkness. This excels folly as light excels darkness. Gold, wisdom, fear, hate. Gold, wisdom, fear, hate.
Ecclesiastes 2:13. Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness.
There's a lot of excels going on again, but it's back to that same thing. I think the message here seriously is the wisdom piece needs to be pursued, shall we say. Yep. Bubbers is in the house, Janice. The fool walks in snares, a straight path, darkness, or love. The fool walks in snares, a straight path, darkness, or love.
I'm just laughing at you guys.
I know they're great. They're great.
Verse 14. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. Isn't that true? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I myself perceived also that one event happened to all of them. And that's back to that same thing. If the fool walks in darkness, where's the wisdom piece?
Right.
He came to feel this way about life because the work became grievous to him. He came to feel this way about life because the work became grievous to him. He loved it. He feared it. He hated it. He longed for it. He loved it. He feared it. He hated it. He longed for it.
I am guessing that is verse 17.
17 sounds good.
Therefore I hated life, because the work that was wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit.
Hated it is the correcto answer. He didn't know if a man would come after. He didn't know if the man who came after him would like him, be wise or a fool, be young or old, or like his own. He didn't know if the man who came after him would like him, be wise or a fool, be young or old, or like his throne.
Verse 19, and who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool, yet shall he have rule over all my labor, wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. So vanity, vexation of spirit, and wisdom. Wow.
Your word keeps coming in there too. This is the big chapter, big book. To the sinner, God gives a blessing, a heart of stone, travail, or hope. To the sinner, God gives a blessing, a heart of stone, travail, or hope? I can't wait to see what your versions say as far as the translation of some of these words.
Yeah, we'll have to go out to the message after this. Verse 26.
Uh huh.
For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit.
And while we're loading my scores, which always makes me sad with my tears, get, if you'd like, Doc, to read Ecclesiastes 2 in the message version to see the translation of some of these words that we've heard. And we'd like to thank each and every one of you joining us live, the Streetman family for sure, and for
Yes.
watching on the replay. These are obviously going to be on the Facebook page, Doc and Queenie group, as well as YouTube links if you ever need to share these with any of your friends. If it would be a blessing to them, it's certainly a blessing to us to have you share. All right, Doc is going to be reading Ecclesiastes 2 out of the message version to translate and, shall we say, contemporize
There's a big word.
some of
Yes.
these words that we heard today in this verse.
All right. So I said to myself, let's go for it. Experiment with pleasure, have a good time. But there was nothing to it, nothing but smoke. What do I think of the fun filled life? Insane, inane. My verdict on the pursuit of happiness? Who needs it? With the help of a bottle of wine and all the wisdom I could muster, I tried my level best to penetrate the absurdity of life. I wanted to get a handle on anything useful we mortals might do during the years we spend on this earth. Oh, I did great things, built houses, planted vineyards, designed gardens and parks, and planted a variety of fruit trees in them, made pools of water to irrigate the groves of trees. I bought slaves, male and female, who had children, giving me even more slaves. Then I acquired large herds and flocks, larger than any before me in Jerusalem. I piled up silver and gold, loot from kings and kingdoms. I gathered a chorus of singers to entertain me with song, and most exquisite of all pleasures, voluptuous maidens for my bed. Oh, how I prospered! I left all my predecessors in Jerusalem far behind, left them behind in the dust. What's more, I kept a clear head through it all. Everything I wanted, I took. I never said no to myself, and I gave in to every impulse, held back nothing. I sucked the marrow out of pleasure, out of every task, my reward to myself for a hard day's work. Then I took a good look at everything I'd done, looked at all the sweat and hard work. But when I looked, I saw nothing but smoke. Smoke and spitting into the wind. There was nothing to any of it. Nothing. And then I took a hard look at what's smart and what's stupid, what's left to do after you've been king. That's a hard act to follow. You just do what you can, and that's it. But I did see that it's better to be smart than stupid, just as light is better than darkness. Even so, though the smart ones see where they're going and the stupid ones grope in the dark, they're all the same in the end, one fate for all, and that's it. When I realized that my fate's the same as the fool's, I had to ask myself, so why bother being wise? It's all smoke, nothing but smoke. The smart and the stupid both disappear out of sight. In a day or two, they're both forgotten. Yes, both the smart and the stupid die, and that's it. I hate life as far as I can see. What happened on earth is a bad business. It's smoke and spitting into the wind. And I hated everything I'd accomplished and accumulated on this earth. I can't take it with me. No, I have to leave it to whoever comes after me, whether they're worthy or worthless, and who's to tell? They'll take over the earthly results of my intense thinking and hard work. Smoke. That's when I called it quits, gave up on anything that could be hoped for on this earth. What's the point of working your fingers to the bone if you hand over what you worked for to someone who never lifted a finger for it? Smoke, that's what it is. A bad business from start to finish. So, what do you get from a life of hard labor? Pain and grief from dawn to dusk, never a decent night's rest, nothing but smoke. The best you can do with your life is have a good time and get by the best you can. The way I see it, that's it. Divine fate. Whether we feast or fast, it's up to God. God may give wisdom and knowledge and joy to his favorites, but sinners are assigned a life of hard labor and end up turning their wages over to God's favorites. Nothing but smoke and spitting in the wind.
Seriously, this is so your vapor word that you said when you first opened tonight. And that is exactly the deal. Spinning your wheels comes to mind for me, and working so hard to get everything. And I'm always like, OMG, if that is what you're working for instead of how you can bless other people, does not sound like a good fit to me. And that message does not mince words. Let's just go there.
And where's your trust and faith that God's going to provide, for those people that are clawing to get that almighty dollar, 50 cents more, or everybody is a dollar sign,
Yeah, that's a sad, that's
less than that.
That definitely wrapped it up. So thanks for cheering us up, Doc.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah. Woohoo.
All right, let's get out of chapter 2 and go into Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and see
I can't wait to see.
maybe there's a word of hope in here. What do you think?
I hope so. I'm hoping.
All right, we're starting with Ecclesiastes 3, and thank you for joining us, those of you live, the Streetman family, and certainly those of you on the replay. There's a time to be born and a time to sleep, be barren, die, or bear. There's a time to be born and a time to sleep, be barren, die, or bear. That was super quick. Okay, maybe everything's fixing now.
Yes. Yay, they actually answered in 10 seconds or less. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die.
There is a time to kill and a time to heal, fast, hide, or flee. There's a time to kill and a time to heal, fast, hide, or flee.
Got to figure out that music, Queenie. Got to get the Jeopardy music.
3-3.
There we go. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Beautiful. There is a time to weep and a time to dig, hide, sleep, laugh. There's a time to weep and a time to dig, hide, sleep, or laugh.
Verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh.
And this one goes on with a time to mourn and a time to dance. There's a time to mourn and a time to, there you go, transgress, ascend, dance, or deliver. Transgress, ascend, dance, or deliver. People definitely don't want to stay in the mourn part.
Nope. Verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance.
There's a time to be silent and a time to meditate, speak, quake, or protest. There's a time to keep silent and a time to meditate, speak, quake, or protest. That seems timely.
And now, because of my version, I have no idea which verse.
Okay. There's a time to keep silent and a time to meditate, speak, quake, or protest. This is 3-7, Doc.
A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak.
Sounds like it does not say protest anywhere in there. What do you think?
So I'm not exactly sure what they mean by the word rend.
We'll find that out in message, I have a feeling.
Yes.
There's a time to love and a time to destroy, retreat, confine, or hate. There's a time to love and a time to destroy, retreat, confine, or hate.
Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. I feel a song coming about, but I won't sing.
Uh-huh. There is a time of war and a time of famine, faith, iniquity, peace. There's a time of war and a time of famine, faith, iniquity, peace.
Verse 8 again, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
This always makes me think of, can't we all just get along?
Yeah, please. I said, please. Yeah.
For a man to enjoy the good of all his labor is sinful, secret, unsure, or the gift. For a man to enjoy the good of all his labor is sinful, secret, unsure, or the gift of God.
Verse 13, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God.
Is that not the truth? He shall judge the righteousness. He shall judge the righteous and the wicked. God, Satan, the preacher, or Solomon. He shall judge the righteous and the wicked. God, Satan, the preacher, or Solomon. I bet I know a few of those it isn't.
Verse 17, I said in mine heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
Beautiful ladies. Man and beast were both formed of this and will return to it. Water, fire, dust, air. Man and beast were both formed of this and will return to it. Water, fire, dust, or air.
Verse 20.
This is 19, Doc.
19, okay. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. I can't even say that word. Even
Yeah.
one thing befalleth them. Of course, it's all over the place. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, or yea, yeah. They all have one breath, so that one man hath no preeminence above a beast for all his vanity. Verse 20, all go into one place, all are of dust, and all turn to dust again.
Absolutely. This had the precursor, if you will, for the 19th part.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I was going to jump to 20 because I found dust.
Yeah. All right. My score is pitiful. So did you want to read the message version for chapter 3?
I'd love to read the message version for chapter 3. Yes. Did the app ask you again that if you wanted to try it again?
Yes. Uh-huh. Would you like to redo chapter 2? Yeah. Chapter 2, 1, 2, and 3.
It's probably going, what is with this person?
Read that.
Ecclesiastes 3, there's a right time for everything. There's an opportune time to do things, a right time for everything on the earth. A right time for birth and another for death. A right time to plant and another to reap. A right time to kill and another to heal. A right time to destroy and another to construct. A right time to cry and another to laugh. A right time to lament and another to cheer. A right time to make love and another to abstain. A right time to embrace and another to part, a right time to search and another to count your losses, a right time to hold on and another to let go, a right time to rip out and another to mend, a right time to shut up and another to speak up, a right time to love and another to hate, a right time to wage war and another to make peace. But in the end, does it really make a difference what anyone does? I've had a good look at what God has given us to do. Busy work, mostly. True. God made everything beautiful in itself and in its time, but He's left us in the dark, so we can never know what God is up to, whether He's coming or going. I've decided there's nothing better to do than go ahead and have a good time, get the most we can out of life. That's it. Eat, drink, and make the most of your job. It's God's gift. I've also concluded, and whatever God does, that's the way it's going to be always. No addition, no subtraction. God's done it, and that's it. That's so we'll quit asking questions and simply worship in holy fear.
Yeah, that is Ecclesiastes 2:11.
Quit asking questions and simply worship in holy fear.
Yeah, that is Ecclesiastes 2:11.
You want me to keep reading, Queenie?
Sure. Anything that you've got for chapter 3?
Did you hear that feedback? Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I didn't know what was going on there. Let's see. Whatever was is, whatever will be is. That's how it always is with God. God's testing us. I took another good look at what's going on. The very place of judgment, corrupt. The place of righteousness, corrupt. I said to myself, God will judge righteousness and wicked. There's a right time for everything, every deed, and there's no getting around it. I said to myself regarding the human race, God's testing a lot of us, showing us up as nothing but animals. Humans and animals come to the same end. Humans die, animals die. We all breathe the same air. So there's really no advantage in being human, none. Everything's smoke. We all end up in the same place. We all came from dust. We all end up as dust. Nobody knows for sure that the human spirit rises to heaven or that the animal spirit sinks into the earth. So I made up my mind that there's nothing better for us men and women than to have a good time in whatever we do. That's our lot. Who knows if there's anything else to life?
Life is as a vapor, synonymous to smoke and back to dust. And that is literally such a message. And again, just as you started us out tonight, we have time for one more chapter. You up for it, Doc?
We're going to do a little speed trivia here, Queenie.
One more chapter. I think we can do chapter 4, Ecclesiastes. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, ready, set, go. He beheld the tears of those who lost a loved one, were oppressed, were dying, or were sick. He beheld the tears of those who lost a loved one, were oppressed, were dying, or were sick.
Verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. On the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Oppressed.
That's correct. Those people had no children, homes, comforter, or vision. Those people had no children, homes, comforter, or vision.
Back to verse 1 again. And they had no comforter.
Again, a message for all of us that we need to be there for each other, huh?
Yep, I think so.
On the side of their oppressors was power, God, an army, or a fever. On the side of their oppressors was power, God, an army, or a fever.
Verse 1 again. And on the side of their oppressors there was power.
We can stay in verse 1 a long time.
Totally.
Therefore he praised the king, the army, the dead, or Moses. Therefore he praised the king, the army, the dead, or Moses.
Verse 2. Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead more than the living which are yet alive.
Verse 2, Ecclesiastes 4. The fool folds his hands together and eats sour grapes, what is not his own flesh, or destruction. The fool folds his hands together and eats sour grapes, what is not his own flesh, or destruction.
Verse 5. The fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
That does not sound real good.
No, not really. Kind of gross, actually.
Better is a handful with this than both hands full with travail. Youth, quietness, fame, stature. Better a handful with this than both hands full with travail. Youth, quietness, fame, or stature.
Verse 6, better is an handful with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit.
Quietness it is. There we go. Okay. Wanted to check on the ladies and see how we're doing. Woe
We're
to
good.
one that is alone when he stands, eats, falls, or dies. Woe to one that is alone when he stands, eats, falls, or dies.
Verse 8,
Actually, 10.
10. Okay. For if they fall, the one who will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is all alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. There we go.
That was going to be an interesting one. Fall, of course, is the answer, but it's one of those kind of things. I have known people who have actually chosen to die alone, like they wanted to literally have no one with them as they pass. And so I knew that wasn't the right answer from a standpoint of biblical teaching. So that was pretty awesome. But if you fall, you certainly want someone there to help you up. If two lie together, then they have joy, integrity, heat, or faithfulness. If two lie together, then they have joy, integrity, heat, or faithfulness.
Verse 11, again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone?
There you go. Heat it is, rock star ladies. This is not quickly broken. Iron, brass, a bone, a threefold cord. This is not quickly broken. Iron, brass, a bone, a threefold cord.
Verse 12, and if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken.
412, a threefold cord. Okay, better is a poor, wise child than a bear robbed of her young, an old foolish king, a barren woman, a sky full of stars. Better is a poor, wise child than a bear robbed of her young, an old foolish king, a barren woman, or a sky full of stars.
Verse 13, better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king who will no more be admonished.
Foolish king, correct. All right, Doc, we did it. Did you want to read the message version to us?
I can try because this is pretty short. So yeah, why don't we?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, my score is 0 out of 10.
Queenie, I don't know. I think we need to help Queenie. What do you think?
It's a good thing I don't get a complex easily.
Okay, this is titled Slow Suicide. There's some positive there for you.
Oh my gosh.
Next, I turn my attention to all the outrageous violence that takes place on this planet. The tears of the victims, no one to comfort them, the iron grip of oppressors, no one to rescue the victims from them. So I congratulated the dead who are already dead instead of the living who are still alive. But luckier than the dead or the living is the person who has never even been, who has never seen the bad business that takes place on earth. That was a run on sentence. Sorry.
Yes.
There was nowhere to breathe in between. Then I
Yeah.
observed all the work and ambition motivated by envy. What a waste. Smoke and spitting into the wind. The fool sits back and takes it easy. His sloth is slow suicide. One handful of peaceful repose is better than two fistfuls of worried work. More spitting into the wind. Why Am I Working Like a Dog? Is the next title. I turned my head and saw yet another wisp of smoke on its way to nothingness. A solitary person completely alone, no children, no family, no friends, yet working obsessively late into the night, compulsively greedy for more and more, never bothering to ask, why am I working like a dog, never having any fun? And who cares? More smoke, a bad business. It's better to have a partner than go it alone. Share the work, share the wealth. And if one falls down, the other helps. But if there's no one to help, tough. Two in a bed warm each other. Alone, you shiver all night. By yourself, you're unprotected. With a friend, you can face the worst. Can you round up a third? A three-stranded rope isn't easily snapped. A poor youngster with some wisdom is better off than an old but foolish king who doesn't know which end is up. I saw a youth just like this start with nothing and go from rags to riches, and I saw everyone rally to the rule of this young successor to the king. Even so, the excitement died quickly. Throngs of people soon lost interest. Can't you see it's only smoke and spitting into the wind?
Seriously, the smoke, the vapor, that whole thing keeps coming back. And that's why I was just thinking about that when you were talking. This verse was just so perfect for your original message. We just have to keep looking up. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Thank you, Donna and Janice, for your comments. We appreciate them, and we're so happy that you were here, that we could all participate
Yes.
together.
And we love that Brad could join us for a while too. And honestly, we thank everyone for joining us live, the Streetman family, and certainly on the replay. Doc, I think once again, it's time for you to take us home.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And thank you on the replay. Pass this along if this touches somebody. Um, that's kind of what we're here for. Check us out, Doc and Queenie Facebook Live next Monday at,
Hi, dude.
or join us back here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Take care and have a great rest of your week and weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Queenie. Bye bye, everyone.